Good morning, everyone. Yeah, good morning, everyone. So now we are going to start our class that regarding subject of utilization of electrical energy. So earlier we have discussed the things. So I would like to have some summary regarding the previous classes. So how we can, what we have discussed just a few minutes, just 5 to 10 minutes. Okay, here is everyone visible of my screen? Okay, let start our class. So this is the contents we have seen the syllabuses. What are the units we are going to be covered under this utilization of electrical energy, and these are the textbooks regarding the subjects. So we have seen the choice of motors and the characteristics and what are the types of motors we have uh, going to use for the different applications. There are so many series and compound, synchronous, induction motor, repulsion, universal, scratch, capacitor motor. All these are going to be used upon the required applications in the industries and domestical purposes. So yes, when coming to the drive, as I have said, the drive is nothing but a combination of prime mover, transmitting equipment, and some mechanical working load. By combining these three into in a single entity, that combination is nothing but a drive. So this drive is going to be run with an electric motor. That is, we are going to run this whole entity with an electric motor is nothing but your electric drive. So here in this slide, I have mentioned the drives employing electric motors are known as electric drives. Yes. So about that. So now we will see the block diagram. In the earlier class, just I have given an outline regarding the block diagram, but I haven't discussed somehow into the deep. So here the main components we are using in this electric drive are source, power modulator, motor, load, sensing unit, control unit, and input command. These are the important things we are using. These are the major parts we are using as an electric drive. So here, each and every part is having their own characteristics to achieve our requirement. So here, if we consider the source, here the source is classified as AC source and DC source. That depends upon our requirement. We are going to choose our source. This is the power modulator. The power modulator is nothing but it modulates the power which is required and which is suitable to the motor. So, for example, if I consider the source of DC, then here the motor I am going to employ is an induction motor. So the DC motor cannot directly connect to the induction motor. So because it is an AC motor. So here the power modulator, which is acting as a medium between the source and motor, it will modulates the power, whatever the source is going to give as an input to the power modulator, it will convert that DC source into a variable frequency AC, variable frequency AC. So it is very the output of the power modulator is AC, while the source input supply is DC. So the main function of the power modulator is it modulates the power or the energy, electrical energy, which was coming to from the source. So the motor here I am using an induction motor. So it is an AC motor. The output of the motor is going to connect it to the two system. That is a mechanical load. The load which we are using here is a mechanical load, and some part of the output is going to be connected to the sensing unit. Here the motor we are making to select the mode of operation, whether the motor is going to operate in the motoring mode or in the braking mode. So here we are going to have the motor operation here. The output is going to be connected to the load, that is our end user. and some part of the output is going to be connected to the sensing unit. Here, what this sensing unit do? It sends the certain parameters. That is nothing but the motor output of the current, speed. It may be voltage. Whatever the output is going to be given by the motor is going to be sensed by the sensing unit. So here the sensing units such as motor current, speed, all those things. So why we are making this sensing unit acting between the load and the motor? Because the at the end users, whatever the requirements needed, we are have to give in the proper action. So if we have the higher things, it will be cause damages to the end users. So that's why that depends upon the motor output. We are going to sense unit and we are get back to the control unit. So that here, whatever the control units, in this control unit, we are having some like controllers, nothing but relays, contractors, and switches, some solid state devices. Here is solid state devices is nothing but our diodes, thyristors, transistors. All these things are going to be happen in this control unit. So while sensing the motor current, speed, all these are going to give the as an a command to is going to give the control unit. Here in the control unit, we are having another input that is nothing but an input command. Here, what does what does it input command do? It input command is nothing but a signal which we gives the control unit to adjust the operating point of the drive of the drive. We are going to give the signal to the control unit to adjust the operating point. So the output is going to be given to the power modulator. So this is when we seen it looks like a closed loop control system. It's like a nothing but a closed loop control system. So these are the some of the functions of main functions of the parts which we have constructed in this electric drive as a block diagram, right? Yesterday I have just given an outline. What is a source? What is a modulator? What is a motor, load, sensing unit, control unit? But here is the main functionings of these blocks and have the desired output. So these are the some I have given some advantages and disadvantages. So earlier, now we will go into the next topic, that's our electric drives. So before getting into the type of drives, here we are completely going to use at the industrial applications, at the side of the industrial applications. So there are various types of electric drives going to be used in the industries. So according to the usage in the industries, they have been classified into three types. That is group drive, individual drive, and multi-motor drive. So here the group drive is nothing but with a single motor, we are going to control or we are going to work the entire group of working machines. So I will show the diagram how it is group drive. Yeah, see, this is in a group drive. Here, the main thing is in a first one is in a motor, and the rest of three as named as a machine. See, these are the working machines. So the connection between the working machines and the motor are made with the help of shafts and belts. See, the arrow mark into the shaft. So this is the main motor. By to control these machines, we are making the motor single motor which was connected to this like this mechanisms. Please check this figure and you can easily understand what is meant by a group drive. So here also I have mentioned a group drive in which a single prime mover. Prime mover is nothing but here our electrical motor. We are considering as an electrical motor as our prime mover. So here it drives, it will operates all the machines at a time with these connections. So the another name for this group drive is line shaft drive. This is nothing but sometimes it's called an a line shaft drive, because the line shaft is fitted with multi-stepped pulleys. These nothing but these are the nothing but pulleys here. These are the pulleys. So with multi-stepped pulleys and belts that connected these pulleys to drive the separate machines which was connected to the single motor. So here we will have the uh, one of the best advantage regarding the group drive is the cost is less. The cost of the motor is less. Why? Because if we consider, for example, I will say I'm taking in a single motor. This is the main motor, which is having a capacity of 100 kilowatts, which is having a 100 kilowatts. Its cost is some uh, the thousands of rupees. So whether when coming to these three machines, what are the individual machines which was driven by the single motor? When we compared, if we consider 10 machines, if we consider 10 machines, the cost of each machine consists of 10 kilowatts. If I, for example, if I consider each machine having a capacity of holding a capacity of 10 kilowatts, I am maintaining the 10 machines which was connected to a single motor. So whatever the sum of the cost of the uh, 10 machines, which is less than the are very high when compared to the single motor. So this is the main advantage we are having regarding the group drive. Here also, whatever the total horsepower, what is the power is equal to the sum of all the individual machines, because all machines may not be working at the same time. So this is the some of the advantages. While as uh, also having one more advantage is the group drives have high overloading capacity, which can handle the high overloading capacity. Sometimes we will see that if we consider the brake load system. So here, while putting the load, we are going to get loading capacity is going. If we increase the loading capacity, there might be some damages to the motor. But in this group drive, we are having uh, high overloading capacity. So meanwhile, we are having some more not only advantages. Each and everything in the universe has both advantages and disadvantages. So like this group drive also having some of disadvantages. That is, if we consider a single machine, if you want to control the speed of in a single machine, I can't do it because all the machines are connected in the line with a shaft to in a single motor. So the main disadvantage of the group drive is we can't control the speed of an individual machine. So it is very difficult. And the appearance of the group drive, the construction is not so good because it's a use of line shafting, pulleys, belts, all those things. And one more disadvantage is after construction of these group drive, we cannot have any extension. For if suppose I have constructed, if we consider this figure, in this figure, I have connected three machines to a single motor. So I got in a job to submit earlier for the time which I have given. So for that purpose, I have to make another one more machine to connect this motor, but I cannot because this is the installation is done at the time of starting, not at the between the. If you want to have some extension or installing a new machine, it is not to be done because it is limited. It is limited. And one more main disadvantage is if the motor gets breakdown, if the main motor gets breakdown, then all the machines are going to be stopped. So this is the main disadvantage regarding the group drive. By this, we are having very considerable power loss while transmitting the energy to the machines. We will having high energy power loss, high power loss. So For the best example, the group drive is nothing but if we consider the textile mills, there in the textile mills, all are using these group drives only. They are running all the machines within a single motor. So there is an, a more as well as advantages and disadvantages of group drive. So these are the some of the things discussed, and we will next step into the individual drive. So we have discussed the advantages and disadvantages. Now individual drive. See the diagram, you can easily understand what is an individual drive, because for one machine only one drive is going to be connected, that is one electric motor. Okay, so here see, I have written here a single electric motor is used to drive one individual machine. Then the system of power transmission is called individual drive. So nothing but, for example, best example in our daily life, our own vehicle. Our own vehicle, it may be in a bicycle, it may be in a car, it may be in a motorbike, whatever it may be. The total is going to be run within a single motor. So the usage, sorry, the connection of the drive is nothing but a single motor, electric motor. That's nothing but a prime mover, which was connected to in a single machine. So the best examples for this here is some metal working machine tools, some metal working shoe for metal cuttings. So joining all these mechanical work, we are using the individual drives for driving heavy machines. This is nothing but lifts, cranes, lathes. For that purpose, we will have the consistency of speed and flexibility. So that's why we are using these individual drives in paper mills, textile industries. So we are very useful for that, for these two industries. While coming to there are so many of industrial purposes, but when compared to the other purposes, this paper mills, this textile industries are more using individual drives. So here also some of advantages and disadvantages. If the motor the same as the group drive, but one is, if we break any, the main motor breakdowns, then the transmission of energy is going to be break. So main thing, the main cause of disadvantage, and the energy is something. Yeah, in case of this industrial drive, the energy is also transmitted. See, in this diagram, the energy is going to be transmitted through the shaft and the pulleys through the belt to the different parts of the different parts. That is nothing but gears and pulleys. Therefore, there will be some power loss. There will be some power loss occurs during this transmission. Okay. Next thing drive is multi-motor drive. Yeah. See, so for each and every application, there will be several individual drives. See, here we are having one diagram. Here we are using two motors for transmission elements to the output, the torque and the speed characteristics. See, this is the drive side. Left side is completely the circuit is drive side, and the right side is the output side. So these multi-motor drives are mainly used in traveling cranes. In traveling crane. In traveling crane means uh, in traveling cranes there will be three motors. Here I have shown just what the multi-motor drives looks. But here the multi-motor drives, for example, which I have taken is in a traveling crane. In the traveling cranes, there are three motors. They will use the three motors. One motor is for hoisting, and another motor is used for the long travel motion, and the third is used for cross travel motors. So if we take the track, there will be some crossings between the tracks. So further, they are going to be used. So like this, there are so many of applications like in paper making machines, rolling mills, and rotary printing machines. All these types of purposes, these multi-motor drives are going to be used. So here, these are the types of the drives we are having there. There's nothing but group drive, individual drive, and multi-motor drive. Okay, these are the topic which we are going to be study as in our first unit in the first unit. So, is there any queries? Please have in the chat
Narasimha
box.
sir,
Sir, Chapan sir.
please be a bit louder.
Okay, sir. Okay, sir. Okay, if you have any queries regarding these types of drives, please have the questions in the chat box. And I will say one thing I'll let you know. I will post all the videos or in the YouTube and the PPT in the group at the, every week. At the end of the week for the 4 classes, I will put the PPT in the group. Please check it. And if you have any doubts, please get back to me. So next, we are stepping into the next topic is, so here is, so I forgot to show this system also. This is the simple diagram which shows the multi-motor drive system is nothing but for the one load, we can connect more number of motors. So
Sir,
for each
again
and
you are bit slow.
okay.
Please be louder, sir.
Okay, sir. Yes, my thing. Okay, this is the another simple diagram to understand what is a multi-motor drive system. So see in this diagram, just for one load, they have connected 4 motors, and for the according to your purposes, we can connected more number of motors and for your requirement. So these are some of the advantages and disadvantages also we have discussed. And we next see our next topic is the characteristics. So earlier we have discussed what are the motors we are going to use for this drive. So here we have seen that some DC motors, AC motors. So in the AC motors, induction motors, synchronous motors, repulsion motors, craze motors, all these things. Now we are going to study what are the characters we have to choose while employing in a motor or when employing in a prime mover for your purposes. So here earlier I have said that these characteristics while choosing of motors we have see the character what are the things we have to consider, that is the factors what we have to consider while choosing in a motors, that is the regarding the cost, electrical characteristics, mechanical characteristics, size, and the inspection. Vetting means nothing but an thoroughly inspection whether the motor is suitable to the particular purpose or not, is everything is okay with the voltage ratings, current ratings, frequency, power factor, all those things. So loading capacity. And here the one of the thing we have to consider the factory's type of race. Now we have discussed the which type of drive we have to use for our purpose. It may be an individual drive, it may be in a group drive or in a multi-motor drive. So here in the block diagram, we have discussed that source. Source is nothing but your supplies. It may be an AC supply, DC supply. So by considering all these characteristics or the factors, we are going to choose the motors. So now we are going to step into the type of the characters we are going to see. What are the characters we have to see? As per your syllabus, they have given to study the starting and running characteristics. It is nothing but, see, I have mentioned here very clearly, all these are the comes under your characteristics of the motors. Either it may be an DC motor or an AC motor. It may be like induction or this. But we have to study these characters, these two characters, that is starting characteristics and running characteristics. See, the these three characteristics, that is torque versus armature current, speed versus armature current, and output versus armature current. So see, there will be a common point in the starting characteristics. These all the three, torque, speed, and output, is going to be depends on armature current. By varying the armature current, the torque is going to be vary. The here in the second thing, armature, based upon the armature current variation, the speed is going to be vary. Based upon the armature current variation, the output is going to vary. So base starting, so the motor starting characteristics are depends upon the change of the armature current. That's why I have divided clearly to understand you easily the starting characteristics and running characteristics. So while coming to the running characteristics, the output of the motor, that is nothing but speed and torque. So the comparison of the characteristics between the speed and the torque, it gives your running characteristics. So each and everything you can define very easily, because the curve or the characteristics which was produced between the torque and armature current is nothing but an torque versus armature current characteristics. And likewise, that characteristics between speed and armature current, output and armature current, it just gives your these three combinations: torque and tau versus Ia, n versus Ia, and hp versus Ia. These three combinations gives your starting characteristics, and these one, only the one, the speed and the torque, gives your running characteristics. Okay, so now we will discuss the DC motor drives. So we are now, first I am going to discuss the characteristics of DC motors. So here, when the DC motor, the motor runs within a DC supply or connected to the DC supply, that motor is connected to the drive, that is nothing but a combination of prime mover, transmission equipment, and our mechanical working load, to a load. So this drive is connected to an electric motor. That electric motor here I have considered as a DC motor. I'm going to study the DC motor characteristics. After this, I'm going to step into the induction motor, synchronous motor, universal motor, what not, AC motors. So we will see first line by line. So here some of the motors which was used under the DC motor drives, they are the shunt motor and separately excited motor, series motor, compound motors, universal motor, permanent magnet motors, DC servo motors, moving coil motors, torque motors, and some other motors. So these all motors are comes under your DC motor drives. But especially the first three, that is shunt motor, series motor, and compound motors, are we are going to study as per your syllabus. Now I am going to explain, or I'm going to discuss regarding these three topics to be continued in the next class. So if we start this one, we have to have some more equations, how the connections and the characteristics, how it is going to be happen. All these things we are going to see. And due to the time running out, we are having just less than 3 minutes. We are having only 2 minutes. So if you have any queries regarding the slides or the topics, please just mention me. uh, Anyone else? So if you share your doubts, I can rectify to you. As of the time is running out, I can't go deep into the topics right away. So if you have any doubts regarding the type of drives, you can have the queries in the chat box, and we will discuss and we will continue the DC motor characteristics of DC motors, that is regarding the shunt motor, series motor, and the compound motors. How we are going to use is explained in the next class. Okay.